Not too long ago, paper checks were much more in use. Jarvis Simpson was badly affected by diabetes, his sight nearly gone, both legs amputated. Mr. Simpson was warned, more than once, that he was still responsible for safeguarding his checks. But as she wheeled him out, staff saw Jarvis handing his starter kit of checks to his caretaker. Soon, Jarvis was left stranded in bed, and his balance was $15,000 less than it should have been. This is Fraud in a Moment, and the truth starts now. The Checkbook Prison: How a Caretaker Turned a Senior's Home into a Trap. Before digital banking, before fraud alerts, before mobile apps could warn you of suspicious activity, there were paper checks, simple, physical, and dangerously easy to misuse. For one senior, those checks became the very weapon used to trap him. Jarvis Simpson, age 74, was a longtime client. Ravaged by diabetes, his sight was failing, both of his legs had been amputated. He moved with prosthetics and a wheelchair. His branch staff knew him well and cared deeply. They actually cut official checks for him at no cost, and they helped him pay bills. They protected him as best they could. Then one day he arrived with a new caretaker, Jillian. Jillian pushed his wheelchair to the desk and insisted he open a checking account immediately, demanding a substantial transfer from his savings. The bank staff tried to discourage him. They promised continued help. They read every disclosure, every policy, every warning, especially the one stating he was responsible for safeguarding his checks. But he refused. He wanted the account, and as Jillian wheeled him out, the staff watched him hand her the starter kit of checks, the very checks he had just been warned to protect. Weeks passed. Finally, he called the branch, confused and frightened. His checking balance was $15,000 lower than it should have been. The truth was horrifying. The caretaker had moved into his home. Her boyfriend had moved in too. Together, they used his checkbook to go on a shopping spree. But the financial theft wasn't the worst part. Jarvis claimed they hid his prosthetic legs. Jillian and her boyfriend had placed his wheelchair out of reach, leaving him stranded in bed, unable to move, unable to escape, unable to stop them. He filed forgery claims for every check. He begged for help. He insisted he had been trapped, but the warnings had been documented. The disclosures had been read. The staff had watched him hand over the checks. All of his claims were denied. This wasn't just fraud. It was captivity. It was operational control, access to his home, his mobility, his finances, his physical limitations. A scam that weaponized dependency, turning caregiving into imprisonment, trusting the wrong person at the worst possible moment. What did we learn from this story? 1. Checks are as dangerous as cash. Anyone who has them can spend your money. 2. Never hand over a starter check kit to a caretaker. It is equivalent to giving them your wallet. 3. Documented warnings matter. Banks rely on disclosures when determining liability. 4. Banks can add extra protections. Passwords, withdrawal limits, and in-person only flags can prevent unauthorized use. 5. Trust is powerful and dangerous. Always keep financial tools out of reach of anyone who has not been vetted. 6. Caretaker fraud is one of the fastest growing senior scams. Always vet caregivers through licensed agencies. 7. If your caregiver moves someone into your home without permission, it is a red flag. Report it immediately. 8. Physical dependency increases financial vulnerability. If mobility is limited, additional safeguards must be in place. 9. Savings to checking transfers should be monitored. Large transfers can signal exploitation. 10. Isolation is one of a scammer's greatest weapons. If someone limits your movement or access to communication, call for help immediately. He trusted a caretaker, and she became his captor. She didn't need hacking tools or technology. She needed access to his home, his checks, and his body. Fraud isn't always digital. Sometimes it's personal. Sometimes it's intimate. Sometimes it's sitting beside you, pushing your wheelchair and smiling as you sign away your safety. Safeguard your checks, safeguard your identity, and above all, safeguard your trust. Because the most unbelievable scams are the ones committed by the people allowed closest to you. This has been Fraud in a Moment, where we expose the schemes hiding in plain sight and give you the tools to protect what's yours. Until next time, stay alert, stay steady, and remember, sadly, the most unbelievable scams come from those whom we trust. Therefore, we must vet everyone, lest we go bust.